Most people work 90,000 hours, more than they'll spend with family, traveling, or feeling alive, yet still retire late, stressed, and broke. But what if you could retire decades earlier, even starting with zero? Hi friends, welcome back. I'm Diane. After 15 years in finance and consulting, advising everyone from the World Bank to private equity firms, I've learned something crucial. The wealthiest people don't guess their money. They use a system. But the truth is, most of us were never taught this. And I learned that the hard way when I was suddenly let go from my job within 17 minutes notice. That moment showed me I didn't have a plan for myself nor my family. So I built one, and now I want to show you how to do the same. In this video, we'll break down why retirement isn't about age, it's about assets, how to calculate your walkaway number, and how to start building wealth even starting from zero. So grab your coffee and let's dive in. Average retirement age in the United States is around 62. But retirement shouldn't be about hitting a certain age. It's about reaching our freedom number, the amount of money that makes work optional. It's about understanding our money, making decisions from a position of strength, and creating real options for how we want to live and spend our most valuable resource, time. I've always loved how Morgan Housel defines wealth. The highest form of wealth is the ability to wake up every morning and say, I can do whatever I want today. But let's take that a step further. Studies on happiness and well-being consistently show that true satisfaction isn't found in a life of leisure, but in a life of purpose and autonomy. This isn't just about stopping work you hate. It's about giving yourself the freedom to choose work you love. Financial independence means working because we want to, not because we have to. So let's redefine retirement together. It's not about an age, it's about optionality. Here's a simple system I use to create financial clarity, build wealth, and live intentionally. I call it the Personal Rich Framework because personal finance should actually be personal. The framework follows a three-part approach: clarity, strategy, freedom. At its core, 3 numbers, 5 levers, and 1 freedom number. That's all you need. Before we can build wealth or design a work-optional life, we need to be clear. Not just vague goals like save more, but 3 specific numbers that form the foundation of our plan. The 3 most important numbers. First is spending. How much does our life actually cost? This is our real number, not the budget we think we should have. So to calculate our freedom number, divide our annual spend by 4%. For an example, an annual spend of $40,000 requires a $1 million freedom number, or an annual spend of $80,000 requires a $2 million. This is based on the 4% rule from the famous Trinity study, which found that you can safely withdraw 4% annually from your investments over a 30-year retirement without running out of money. Some financial experts now suggest a more conservative 3 to 3.5 withdrawal rate due to current market conditions and longer lifespans. Next is savings, what you're consistently setting aside. We will never stop working if we never save our money. So to build wealth, we need to invest it, and to invest it, we first need to save a portion of what we earn. I found a helpful calculator online that shows you how much you need to save to retire within your desired timeline. Third is income, what you earn. More important, income doesn't automatically mean more wealth, but it does give us more options. We've all seen people making 6 figures and still living paycheck to paycheck. This is because they lack clarity or are not aware of their financial behaviors or relationship with money. Our income matters because it directly affects what we can save and invest for in the future. So these numbers give us a snapshot of whether we're on track or not. You don't have to figure this out all alone. If you're serious about creating your own financial freedom and want a step-by-step plan tailored to your specific situation, I'm here to help. For a limited time, I'm offering free one-on-one clarity calls. I wish someone was there to help me through the process, and so now I'd love to help this community. So you can book a call in the link in the description box below. Now, if you want to find exactly where you stand, I've created a free quiz that gives you your personal rich score in under 2 minutes. You can take the quiz using the link below, and you can get a customized plan based on your results. The second part of this framework is strategy, your 5 financial levers. Now that you're clear on your 3 numbers, let's talk about the 5 levers that shape them. These are the dials we can turn to change our financial outcome. The good news, you only need to focus on 1 lever at a time. So first is your income, your accelerator. Your income powers your financial engine. So first, can you figure out if you can negotiate a raise? Do you have a skill you can monetize? Or can you grow a side hustle? Why does this matter? An extra $500 a month invested consistently can grow to over $1 million in 40 years, based on the historical average return of the S&P 500. That's the power of small, smart moves compounding compounded over time. Second is your expenses. This is your control panel. This isn't about cutting every latte. I really love my iced double espresso with light soy from Starbucks. Some tips here to manage your expenses. The first tip here is to focus on the big three: housing, transportation, and food, which can make over 60% of an average person's budget. First is housing. Your housing cost should not exceed about 28 to 30% of your gross monthly income. When this number gets higher and higher, you might become what some call house poor. Second is transportation. This is usually the second most expensive expense for any family. So total car cost should be no more than 10 to 15%, and 15% is on the higher side of your total take-home pay. So consider the total cost of ownership when purchasing the car or thinking about everything that relates to the car: parking ticket, insurance, registration, maintenance, all those things. Food, you want to be mindful of eating out. I'm not telling you to not ever eat out, but just pay attention to this number, because sometimes not watching your spend and eating out can take up nearly 50% of your budget. So be careful here. And here's a bonus for this week: a subscription audit. Most of us have a handful of subscriptions we barely use. A recent study found that nearly 2/3 of customers have forgotten about at least one recurring payment. Cancel any unused subscriptions. For any subscriptions you're on the fence about, cancel it for 1 month, set a reminder to reevaluate. If you don't miss it, you know it wasn't bringing you enough value. Debt. Debt can either help you climb or hold you down. If you're dealing with high interest debt, like credit card debt with an APR of over 20%, make that your first priority. Paying it off gives you a guaranteed return, often better than any investment could have. Next is investing, which is your wealth multiplier. Investing is how we build wealth without trading our time for money. If you invest $300 a month in an S&P 500 index for 40 years, it can grow to over $1 million. Now, if you bump that up $200 to $500 a month, it would jump to over 1.6 million. So the earlier you start, the more time your money has to grow. It's not about complexity, it's about consistency. To start, you can consider an index fund. So the S&P 500 tracks the performance of 500 US companies representing about 80% of the stock market value. These funds are popular because they give you broad market exposure without a single investment. They're usually lower in fees than actively managed funds, and historically they've been reliable in terms of long-term returns. So you can start with the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF VOO. They offer one of the most popular index funds. These funds are a good starting point for both new and experienced investors looking for a simple, low-cost way to build wealth over time. Last but not least, taxes, your hidden leak. If you're earning more but not managing your taxes, it's like building wealth with a leaky bucket. Strategic planning can help keep more of what you earn. So you want to consider tax advantage accounts at a minimum if you haven't. This is where your money multiplies even faster. Don't leave free money on the table. 401k, max out your employer match. This is literally free money. Roth IRA, your contributions are after tax, but your withdrawals in retirement are completely tax-free. And then HSA, this is what I call the triple threat account. It's pre-tax, gross tax-free, and you can withdraw it tax-free for qualified medical expenses. Now that you've seen the levers, you know that designing your financial life can feel complex. If you're ready to stop guessing and build a custom strategy to reach your freedom number, you can book a one-on-one call with me. The link is in the box below. You don't have to figure it out all alone. Last but not least, designing your personal rich life. We've covered clarity to strategy, and now it's time for the most important part of this framework: designing your personal rich life. Most people think that they're chasing a number, but what they're really after is what that number gives them. Time with family, the ability to stop doing work that drains them, a life that feels meaningful, not just busy, and perhaps doing something different, maybe write, travel, or something we've always wanted to try. Money is a tool, not the goal. If we don't get clear on our why, we'll either never feel rich enough or we'll reach our number and still feel stuck. I remember the first day in assignment at Columbia Business School. It wasn't spreadsheets. It wasn't strategy. It was one question. What do you want your life to look like in the next 3, 5, and 10 years? That question changed everything, because when we're clear on what we want, money becomes a tool to get there, not a finish line to chase. So let me ask you, if work became optional tomorrow, how would you spend your time? What gets you excited in the morning? Go and do more of that. That's the real goal. The freedom to live with clarity, intention, and joy. Friends, thanks so much for watching. Now that you have the framework, the next step is to apply it. Again, you can take my free personal rich score quiz here to find out where you stand and get a personalized action plan. It takes less than 2 minutes. Now I want to hear from you. What age do you want to retire by? Let me know in the comment box below. See you in the next one.